Modeling for Gender. My name is Jennifer, and this is my co-host,
Lorelei. Today we'll be talking about different poses you can use if you are standing, and how they portray different messages about you. Now, Jen, first let's talk about different characteristics of masculine presenting and feminine presenting poses.
That's a great starting point, Lorelei.
In this series of videos, our model Lorelei will be posing in both feminine and masculine presenting poses.
I think the first general observation you want to note is angle. That is, if the viewer is looking up at the subject like a child looking at their parent, the subject appears more powerful. But if the viewer is looking down at someone, they appear less powerful.
As you can see, the camera is pointed up at this woman, making her appear more powerful.
That is true, Jen. And that is something that is true of any gender presentation. Though usually you will see feminine presenting subjects in downward angle photos, correct?
Exactly.
This pose is a trick to achieve a downward facing angle, even for a tall person while standing. You see here that this pose is more flattering on the feminine presenting model than it is on the masculine presenting one. This is a very playful pose, which works better in a dress and is slightly ridiculous in a suit.
That's what we generally speak of as the selfie angle. It's a very slimming angle, since whatever's closer to the camera, like your face in a selfie, will draw the most attention, which is what women are generally more focused on when they are taking pictures of themselves.
Jen, how dare you say something like that?
It's true, Lorelei.
Anyway, some other things we can note about feminine standing poses. One thing you will notice in most women, if they are holding objects, like this tablet, they will be shown holding it in front of their body like a shield.
In this picture, the feminine presenting model not only holds the tablet between her and the viewer, but she also looks uncomfortable and confused by it.
Whereas a man would be holding or interacting with the same object more to the side or to the camera, as if it didn't matter to him.
Exactly.
Here, the masculine presenting model holds the tablet in the other hand, moving it to the side and opening him up. His posture is more solid in flat shoes, and he appears to interact more with the machine.
Exactly! Men usually prefer to be seen as strong or solid characters, so they will more often be shown in head-on or square-to-the-camera poses.
And in very angular poses to show off how rough they are.
This model has adopted the Superman pose, facing the camera with his arms angularly on his hips.
Females, on the other hand, tend to pose in softer S-curves to show off how sexy and pliable they are.
I don't think I realized that before, Jen.
This model is leaning forward, but with her head leaning back, with her butt sticking out and her knees bent forward, giving her an S shape.
Finally, you will see that women will show off the parts of their body that they want emphasized, like their face or their butt, using flat palms as a framing technique.
That is true, Lorelei.
This model again contorts herself into an S shape, placing her hands on her head and hips for extra support and emphasis.
I do notice that masculine subjects generally aren't touching their faces. That is more of a feminine thing to do you think?
I do think that, Jen. If you think about it, your head and face are especially vulnerable parts of your body, which you don't want to draw attention to if you're trying to appear dominant.
You do have a point, Lorelei.
You couldn't possibly imagine a CEO choosing this as their professional headshot, even though the model is wearing a suit.
So, as our expert on gender modeling, what would you recommend for someone trying to portray a masculine or dominant personality?
Don't be afraid to take up space and pose head on. When posing with objects, be sure to assert your patriarchy on them. Adopt solid, angular poses, which is very powerful, especially for a feminine presenting model. And remember to have fun and actively play with the audience.
I'll have to try some of those tips myself. And what would you recommend for submissive or feminine people?
Use your hands to frame the parts of your body you want to emphasize. A downward-facing angle is effective for emphasizing your face.
Tits!
Use props for additional shielding and support. Even a subtle S-curve, which this model does by turning her head and knee in opposite directions, appears feminine. But the more obvious the S-curve, the more feminine the pose.
Excellent advice! Well, that's all for this time. I'm Jen.
And I'm Lorelei, and this has been Modeling for Gender, Standing Poses.
Tend to pose in softer S-curves to show off how sexy and pliable they are.
Exactly. Shit.